What's going on, YouTube? This is Ghost in the Room, back on the Moment of Truth YouTube channel. Alright, today I'm going to briefly talk about some news, some art news, something that just happened, kind of scandalous or whatever. Then I'm going to talk about, I'm going to check in on that portrait that I was doing and let you guys know who the character is. Actually, one of you all guessed correctly on my last video and won a little something, so I'm going to touch on that. And then finally, I'm going to talk about a movie that just came out based on the television series that had the character that I've drawn. So without further ado, let's hop into this video for you. So, first and foremost, apparently this past week, somebody broke into a museum in San Francisco and stole a $20,000 Salvador Dali etching. I don't believe it was a painting. It was like an etching or whatever. If you don't know who Salvador Dali is or who he was, he's probably one of the more influential artists of the 19th century. He was primarily a surreal artist, which is one of my favorite. Surrealism is probably one of my favorite movements as far as art history goes, and one of my favorite styles. So I really do like it. You probably know him, his piece, The Persistence of Memory. It's got the melting clocks and the ants crawling on it. That's Salvador Dali. So somebody, apparently they just walked right out the museum with this $20,000 piece. I mean, I was reading an article and it said like the art gallery curator or the owner was talking to some other customers. I guess they don't have security there. It's kind of wild to me that this person could just stroll out with a piece from somebody, you know, an original Salvador Dali. This man is in history books, but hey, crazy stuff going on in the world, man. And remember I was telling y'all about Banksy and how much his piece was worth? That was like $12 billion, I think. Million or billion, I don't remember. So this is a $20,000 etching, so whatever. Next on the list, shout out to Nicole France, aka Nick Nasty, who who guessed correctly who I was drawing. So remember, I'm still working on it. I actually haven't touched it since the last video. But this character is Walter White, aka Walt, aka Heisenberg, from the hit show series Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is A1 show, man. And so shout out to Nicole for guessing correctly and actually commenting on the video. I'm going to be giving her a Frank shirt. If y'all not familiar with Frank, I might do another video one day kind of talking about him. But I'm going to give her a shirt, one of my creations, to show appreciation. Thank you. All right. So finally, I did want to kind of segue into the movie that just came out. It's called Breaking Bad, El Camino. It's on Netflix right now. And basically what it is a continuation after the season finale of Breaking Bad. Now, disclaimer, if you don't like spoilers, if you haven't seen Breaking Bad, you've been thinking about it, please stop watching the video and go ahead and start watching Breaking Bad or whatever. Stop the video now, because I'm finna give a few spoilers out. Alright? I warned you. Alright, so Breaking Bad. The series primarily followed Walter White. Kind of a quick recap. Walt was, like a 50-year-old white man. He was a chemistry teacher at a high school, and he was pretty bland, man. He was like vanilla. He was like vanilla and bran flakes. Basically, unexciting, uneventful guy. Then he found out that he had cancer, and that changed his whole life. Because after he found out he had cancer and didn't have very much time to live, he decided he wanted to figure out how to leave some money for his family so that they'd be okay, after he was gone. And after going on a drug raid with his brother-in-law who was in the DEA, they raided a meth lab, and they brought in God knows how much money. And when Walt saw how much money you can make in the meth business, he figured he'd get in on it. He's a chemistry teacher. He knows chemistry well, and meth is all about that chemistry. So he ends up running into one of his former students, Jesse Pinkman, who sells meth, and he asks him to show him the ropes because Walt don't know nothing about the streets, right? He didn't. And so Jesse shows him the streets and kind of street smarts. Walt brings his book smarts, and together they become this dynamic duo. Walt becomes like increasingly more dangerous and selfish. You know, at first he was doing it for his family to leave behind money. At by the middle and the end of it, it was all about Walt and leaving himself a legacy and a name. So the series is awesome, and if you haven't seen it again, go check it out. The movie is just a continuation, but from the season finale, but it's all Jesse's perspective. Series is all Walt's perspective for the most part. Movie is Jesse. The season finale in the series, you see Jesse speeding away after being held in captivity and forced to cook meth. He didn't even want to do it anymore. He didn't want to be in the game, but because of him trying to set up Walt, I mean, you gotta watch it. I ain't finna sit here and tell you the whole thing, but basically, he gets caught and he gets known for being a rat, for working with the DEA to try to get Walt out the business. He gets put into slavery, forced to cook meth, and they killed like the only person that he loved. So Jesse went through a lot. They were torturing him and all that. He finally gets set free. He's speeding away in the El Camino, and that's all we see in the season finale. We never actually found out what was to become of Jesse Pinkman. Was he going to continue in the meth business and make that money? Was he going to get killed? Blah, blah, go to prison? Who knows, right? So that's where El Camino comes in. El Camino starts exactly where the season finale ends. You see the exact same scene of Jesse speeding away. And then you pretty much get a lot of flashbacks about what happened to Jesse. You see a lot of Todd, the character Todd was really psychotic, one of his captors. And Todd's jacked up, guys. When you watch El Camino, you really see how deep his psyche's jacked up. So I think that El Camino did a good job as far as answering those questions and filling in those blanks that we didn't have in the series. If you're looking for a lot of action, it's not really a whole lot of that. It can be a little bit more slower paced, I think, for some folks. There's a lot of recall. You got to remember some stuff that happened in the series to fully appreciate the movie. So it would be a good idea to watch the series again, or at least is the last episode. Some issues that some people had on Twitter with it. The biggest one was just the continuity thing. The season finale aired in 2013, right? That was 6 years ago. Characters have changed. They're older now. Bodies are different. And the biggest example was Todd. In the movie, Todd has gained a lot of weight compared to what he looked like in the series. So he doesn't look the same. The movie does try to do new flashbacks, using the actor now today. And it doesn't all the way work because he's like, everybody's like, man, Todd is fat. He looks older. His energy is not quite the same. He doesn't seem as youthful as he did in the series, but that's life. We all grow older. It's been 6 years, man. Even Jesse looks a little older. He's not as scrawny as he was back then, but other than that, it's pretty good. Don't expect to see a lot of Walt. Don't expect to see the character Mike too much. You'll see him in a flashback, but nothing more than that. You're not going to see Walt Jr. or Walt's wife or Hank's wife. You're not going to see any of those characters. So that's just a heads up. You see Skinny Pete and the other guy. You see Jesse and his friends and some new characters. All in all, though, I give it an 8 out of 10. So if you guys watched El Camino or if you watched Breaking Bad, give me your opinions, drop your comments, let me know what you think, and what do you rate it. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for the Fit Talk with King Flex. His tips and advice are definitely helping me get back on my healthy journey. I'm not doing keto or anything like that, but just being more mindful of how I work out and kind of what I eat and all that good stuff. So without further ado, cutting this video out for you.